Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be looking at the book of the month for August. And to fit with the book's black and white, spooky, sketchy aesthetic that it's got going on, I've decided to go for my own spooky, sketchy, black and white aesthetic. Because why not? We have fun here. We do. We do. We do. Today we are looking at a surprisingly touching and spooky, scary, unsettling, but gorgeous and beautifully illustrated book, and that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and I love the way the title does that. This really took me by surprise. I have not seen the movie yet, but seeing the movie was coming out did inspire me to read the book in the first place, and I decided to give it another read recently because it is so quick. It is a very quick read. You can probably power through it in one session. I tried to break it up into at least 2 sessions just to sort of let it sink in. But yeah, very quick read, very easy read, but by no means a childish one or a simple one. The issues that this book covers, it hit home. It really did hit home. There's a lot of dark but very real issues in this that a lot of people go through and a lot of people suffer through, and it highlights just how difficult it is, but done in a very artistic way and a very subtle way that it doesn't fully hit you until the ending chapters where you're like, oh god, this is what's happening. I can relate to this somehow. Oh my god, I need to lie down for a while. But I am getting way ahead of myself on all this, so I am sorry. So let's start with, what is this book about? And that is a young boy called Connor who is going through a lot right now. His mother's not well, he's not on great terms with his family, and out of nowhere this gigantic monster that seems to be made of everything from the woodlands shows up after midnight and begins following him, not necessarily stalking him, but getting in his head, whispering things to him, telling him stories, 4 very dark stories that at first he thinks are just creepy nightmares, creepy illusions that maybe he's going insane. He doesn't really know, he doesn't really care, he's got enough to worry about in his real life, let alone the monster that comes knocking at his window. But then things tie together in ways that you don't expect, and it just gets right under your skin. But then this monster wants something in return. He wants something from Connor for telling him these stories, and all he wants is the truth. And we are just as confused as Connor on that one, because we do not know what the truth is that he wants. It could be any truth. It could be his deepest, darkest truth that he doesn't want to face. It could be anything, and I love it so much. Something else to love is just the beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I mean, it managed to capture something so whimsical and creative and yet so disturbing and creepy. I mean, this is like something that comes out of Lovecraft or Stephen King, and we're expecting this to be interacting with a child as if it was completely normal. It's like the amazing use of shadows to highlight what's going on, to just really give the illusion of how big and terrifying this thing is, but how passive the main character is to all of this. The development that this boy goes through is beautiful because he's still so young. He doesn't understand what he's feeling. He keeps trying to bottle it up. Whenever someone tries to talk to him, you know, how dare they? They don't understand what he's going through. He doesn't understand what he's going through, so he shuts them out. But then by the end, it's this, I don't want to ruin the ending. I'm not going to ruin the ending. I will restrain myself, but good lord, it's heartbreaking, but it's perfect. Something I really like about the writing style is how simple it is. It never tries to big itself up into something it's not. It just gives us what we need to know in that moment, and then anything else falls into place. It doesn't go overboard on exposition. It doesn't try and force a message down your throat. It doesn't have the monster tell you a story just for the author to go, oh, because it means this, because symbolism, you get it right. It's not forceful. It just lets it be what it wants to be and lets you figure out the rest in the end. You figure things out the same rate that Connor does. And that's a really great way of doing it, because when you do feel lost, and you do feel lost a couple of times, it's because you're on the same level as the main character. You're feeling lost because he is. You don't know what's going on because he doesn't. You're figuring things out the same rate he is, and it just makes it for a much more relatable and immersive story. The fact that it comes with so many beautiful backgrounds and illustrations. I mean, a lot of people may think, oh, because it has pictures, it must be a children's book. And yes, this is for younger audiences, but it just tackles so many issues like anger, confusion, grief. It handles them in a way that a child would feel it, because then we remember that we've all felt this way, and sometimes when we haven't learned how to manage these emotions, we still feel it today. Sometimes when we're in moments of great stress and upset, we do revert back to our childish ways, because for a split second we have lost that control and we don't know how to handle it. It takes you back to being a kid in that sense, where you don't fully understand what is happening with yourself, let alone want to accept what's happening with people around you. Again, like I said, I haven't seen the film, but I've heard amazing things about it, and I've heard that it is also more than capable of making you cry. And this book did make me cry, so I am very curious to see the film, but I'm glad I read the book first. What's interesting is that there isn't necessarily a bad guy. There's a few people that have the potential to be, but then they're not. They have the potential to be as in they don't get along with Connor, they don't see eye to eye, they have very different ways of doing things, and that does create contrast. But it's a very human way of handling it. I don't want to say too much in case I give away spoilers, but the characters in this are just so well done, and the way they all grow and learn to listen, perfect. And I could go on and on about this, and I'm so glad that I gave it a second read. I'm so glad that I found it, because it was hiding on the shelf somewhere, blending in with the rest, and like I said, it's not a big book. You can power through this in one, but the messages and the way it's written, it just sticks with you, and that is the sign of something powerful, when it sticks with you even when it's only giving you what you need to know. Highly recommend. If you want to give it a read, please do. It is such a good book, and the illustrated versions are just so blinking good. They're just so good. I'm going to leave it here before I do go on to rambles and do go on to spoilers. If you want a more intricate analysis of this, I did review this on my blog a while ago. I'll try and dig it out and put the link below, but I make no promises because it was a while ago. But it is what it is. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you're staying safe, and if you have any suggestions for me for the next book of the month, please let me know. I would love to have something new to read, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.